Hi, I'm DC Tucker. I'm the author of Dead Territory. I just thought I'd give you a few thoughts on some of the characters you see in the book, and what I feel about them. So obviously, Dead Territory is set in the Harper and Iles world, a world created by my father through a series of 35 books that he wrote over many years. My father died a couple of years ago, and some of the stronger characters, I think, are the two cops, obviously, Isles and Harper. Harper, I always view as the sort of more almost workaday, get things done, but with a very strong sort of sense of ethics and morals. He can bend the rules if he needs to, but generally he's doing that within a set of parameters that he has in his own mind, so that he doesn't go too far off the rails. Whereas Isles is much, much more concentrated on the outcomes, getting the result that he wants. He's much more cynical. He recognises that policing is a constant battle, that nobody is ever going to win the war on either side. And he's much less connected with morality and scruples, and will do anything that he feels will achieve the right outcomes. And you see that in a number of my father's books, but you see it really strongly in Dead Territory. So that's Harper and Iles, the sort of the good guys, but the good guys with flaws. Then you've got the two drugs dealers, Tacit and Loxton. They're they are exploiting people and exploiting people's addictions. So they're pretty horrible characters, really, but they're not written that way. They almost view themselves as businessmen doing some, taking advantage of a situation, a an environment, a commercial environment that they can exploit. So they, as I say, they don't really see themselves as villains, but as people just taking advantage of a good commercial situation. And the real gem, I think, is Ralph Ember. Ember has this sort of absurd notion of himself as this big civic figure, and his immorality and criminal side is just that. It's just a sort of a small sideline, but he's really aspiring to be this important community leader, and the way that he presents himself and the way that he talks about himself, I think, is meant to be very funny. And I think he's a sort of tragic comedy type character, that of the type you might see in a lot of other types of fiction. But he, as I say, I really like him. I really warm to him, and I just think he's a great character. So there's just a few thoughts about some of the main protagonists in Dead Territory. And if you like the sound of those types of people, and the way that they behave and the way that they view themselves, then give Dead Territory a try. Yeah, I think you might really enjoy it.